NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Gino Lamont. Topping our news this evening, an already contentious campaign for Riverside County Sheriff just got uglier as serious allegations are leveled against candidate Lieutenant Chad Bianco. The accusations were made by Moreno Valley Police Chief David Kurylowicz during last week's Palm Springs City Council meeting. Not only have those statements raised questions about the accuser, but also his motivation and fundamentally, why is an officer who lives in Menifee and works in Moreno Valley appearing before the Palm Springs City Council in the first place? NBC Palm Springs reporter Kitty Alvarado joins us in studio with answers direct from the accuser and the City Council. Kitty.
Well, Chief David Kurylowicz is a staunch Sheriff Sniff supporter. He also works for RSO Contract City of Moreno Valley, and he stood up during a public comment Thursday night at Palm Springs City Council meeting, and in tears, he said he was being targeted by Chad Bianco for being gay. The council did hear him out, but now has many questions about why he did this in their city instead of where he lives and works. Well, we spoke exclusively with Kurylowicz and Mayor Pro Tem J.R. Roberts, and also Lieutenant Chad Bianco, who has denounced these allegations.
I'm scared for my friends that are in the department. They're going to force us back into the closet.
This man is David Kurylowicz, the police chief of Moreno Valley, a Riverside County Sheriff's Department contract city, during Thursday's Palm Springs City Council meeting, making serious charges against the man running for Riverside County Sheriff, Lieutenant Chad Bianco.
I'm afraid for what's going to happen if this person becomes the top cop.
He says while he can't prove who is behind the attacks, he believes Lieutenant Chad Bianco's campaign for sheriff is targeting him for being gay.
I've lived it. I've suffered it. I've had to explain it to my children.
Mayor Pro Tem J.R. Roberts was moved by his statements.
Thank you, Mr. Kurylowicz. If you don't mind, I just had a few more questions for you.
Questions that continue to this day. After speaking with Kurylowicz in private and learning he and Sheriff Stan Sniff met days before the meeting in private with council member Jeff Coors, and someone in his circle tipped off the local paper about the public comment.
For Palm Springs, we take accusations like this very seriously. There is definitely a question in my mind of why he didn't go to the city where he lived or Moreno Valley where he serves as chief of police.
Kurylowicz says the insults are mostly online.
It's, for lack of a better term, it's cyberbullying.
But he also accused Bianco of using derogatory language in a conversation where he showed up to one of Bianco's events. We were given the audio of that conversation. Nowhere in that recording is there any derogatory language used.
I have no desire at my function here with people that are waiting for me and my family at home to sit here and discuss this with you.
Roberts says he and his council will always stand up to bigotry, especially against the LGBTQ community. But he needs proof of these claims.
What's even more troubling for me is that there's no proof. Clearly, this man has witnessed or been a victim of harassment, but when he came to speak to us and in a subsequent conversation that I had with him, he has no real proof that any of this harassment, which is online and in other areas, came directly from Chad Bianco.
You're 100% sure it's Chad Bianco who's a homophobe and who's ordering all these attacks and these blogs?
But why hasn't he come out and publicly denounced it?
And Kurylowicz also said that he went to the city of Palm Springs because that's where he volunteers and attends many events. Now, when Lieutenant Chad Bianco heard about these allegations, he says he was angry because it hurts his family. He says his brother is gay and he would never make or approve of any attacks on anyone, let alone based on who they love or what they believe in.
The sheriff's campaign has done everything imaginable to try and link the Right On Daily blog to my campaign. It is not my campaign. It is not my campaign people. It is not funded by my campaign. It is not funded by me or anyone associated with my campaign. The current sheriff has absolutely nothing to stand on. So this is where we're going to take this campaign. Not about how we're going to better the community, not about how we're going to better the department. Let's say Chad is a homophobe. Let's say he insults people. Let's say he's causing all of this horrible things in our community. Let's just make it up. 2 weeks before the ballots get mailed out.
And Robert says he hopes something good can come out of this sheriff's race that's gotten so ugly. And he hopes both candidates do more sensitivity training and institute a zero-tolerance policy against bigotry. And Bianco says that that's what his campaign is all about. But meanwhile, Kurylowicz says that he didn't do this to change any votes. He just wants everyone to get to know their candidates. I'm Kitty Alvarado.
And join us at 6 for more on what candidate Bianco has to say about the allegations. And tomorrow on NBC Palm Springs, both candidates for Riverside County Sheriff will join us with feedback in the heated race. We'll sit down with the incumbent Sheriff Stan Sniff and candidate Lieutenant Chad Bianco. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, on the NBC Palm Springs News at 6:30.